Good morning everyone and welcome to the class. In the previous class we were discussing Indo-Pak relationship under the chapter India's external relationship, and under this Indo-Pak relationship we have discussed the issue of Kashmir, which was the main problem, main reason of uh, tension and conflict between the two countries is Kashmir. And we have seen that how the merger of the Kashmir took place, how Kashmir became part of India, in which what situation, and then we have also seen that the Kashmir issue was taken to the United Nations by Pandit Nehru. That was a political mistake done by Nehru. Then we have also discussed about the 1965 war, and in this war India was in a winning situation because Indian Army has reached up to Lahore, and after the war there was a peace agreement which took place in Tashkent, that is in USSR, in the year in January 1966. The agreement between the two countries was signed on 10th Jan, and the very next day, on 11th Jan, Lal Bahadur Shastri was mysteriously he was dead. So we have discussed this, and now we will see that a new issue was emerging between India and Pakistan, and that was East Pakistan. First of all, you must have all these things in your mind, that Pakistan was separated by Indian landmass. The country was in two parts. One part was at the western side of India, and the other part was at the eastern side of India. West Pakistan and East Pakistan. Okay, and beach में India was there. Now, what was the situation? The situation was this, that there was a very great difference, like cultural difference, the difference of language between the Eastern Pakistan and Western Pakistan. Language was completely different. Urdu was dominant in Western Pakistan, and in Eastern Pakistan Bangla was dominant language. And then we see that culture was also completely different. Bengali culture was there in Bangladesh, and in Pakistan the culture was completely different. So what we see after becoming independent country, what was done by Pakistan, that the Western Pakistan was actually dominating the Eastern Pakistan. The resources of Eastern Pakistan were used by the Western Pakistan only for the benefit of the Western Pakistan, only for the benefit of the people belonging to Western Pakistan. So in a way we can say that the Western Pakistan was using Eastern Pakistan like colony. Just like under the colonial rule, we see that what kind of exploitation take place. The colonial power exploit economically, socially, culturally, politically. In every way, there is exploitation from colonial power to the of the colonized country. In the same manner, this exploitation was taking place. The Western Pakistan was exploiting Eastern Pakistan, and it was in the year 1970 when there was first general election in Pakistan, because before that Pakistan was not able to conduct elections in the whole country, because we know Pakistan is not a successful democracy, because every now and then the military controls the government, and in this way the democracy is not successful there. And in 1970, for the first time, general election was held. And in this general election, what we find that in West Pakistan, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto won the election, and in the Eastern Pakistan it was Awami League. The name of the party was Awami League, and the leader was Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. So, in Eastern Pakistan, Awami League was the party who won the election, and the leader was Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. And Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was in favor of democracy, and it was also the demand of Awami League that federalism should be adopted in Pakistan, because they were getting exploited by the Western Pakistan, and in order to get rid of this situation, they were demanding that there must be federalism. We must adopt federal structure so that they will also get power from the constitution itself, and then there will be little scope of exploitation. But the leaders of Western Pakistan were not ready to accept this demand of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. And now what happened in Eastern Pakistan, that Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was a very popular leader, and the people started to be mobilized, they started to be organized, and there was a kind of civil war situation was going to start there. But the Western Pakistan used force to suppress this uprising, to suppress the demands of the people of Eastern Pakistan. So in early 1971, the leader of this Awami League party, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, was arrested by the Pakistani authorities, and the people, the demand of the people for democracy, the demand of the people for federation was crushed brutally. and all this was happening in the neighboring country of India, and it was very much natural that India will get affected by all these happenings, and there will be impact of India also on these happenings. So what happened that India supported the cause of the people of East Bangladesh, and when the Western Pakistan started to crush the demands of the people for federation, there started the demand for an independent country, that is Bangladesh. So now the people of East Pakistan were demanding, they wanted to be separated from Pakistan, and they wanted to be as an independent country, and the country they wanted was Bangladesh. So now there was demand of a new country, and in all these events, India supported the cause of the Bangladesh, and India supported the cause of the people of Eastern Pakistan, and India also gave its moral support, and it also supported from material also. And now the Pakistan started to blame India that India is arousing this feeling of separatist feeling that was generating in Bangladesh, and the reason of this separatist feeling was the exploitative rule of Western Pakistan. But now the Pakistan was blaming India that India wants to break the country. India wants that Pakistan should become weak by this breaking of the country. And the second important problem that arose with this situation, that when Western Pakistan started to crush the people, started to use violence against the people of Eastern Pakistan, then what happened that the people of Eastern Pakistan started to take refuge in India, because Bangladesh is surrounded from three sides from Indian states only. So India was the only country where the people of Bangladesh, East Pakistan, can take refuge. And at that time India also gave refuge because it was on a humanitarian ground. But around 80 lakh refugees arrived in India, and it was really a tough task to manage such a large number of refugees. On the other hand, what we see that a new development was taking place. A nexus was emerging, and this nexus was of Pakistan, China and America. So what we find that in July 1971, in July 1971, there was at that time President of US was Nixon, and the advisor to the President Nixon was Henry Kissinger. And what happened that in July 1971, this Henry Kissinger paid a secret visit to China via Pakistan. So a nexus was growing of these three countries, and India has experienced the war of 1962, and now the situation can become worse because US was also there with China and Pakistan. So now it was a great concern for the security of India, and in this situation India signed a peace treaty of friendship. India signed a treaty of friendship in August 1971 with USSR. Okay, it was treaty of friendship. You have read about this treaty in your first chapter when we were discussing non-aligned movement. India was one of the founder members of non-aligned movement, and the basic principle of non-aligned movement is that to maintain equal distance from both the groups or blocks of the world. And what we find is that this treaty of friendship, which was done by India with the USSR, was criticized, highly criticized, on this ground that in spite of being a non-aligned country, India has signed a treaty with USSR. But this is not a true criticism, because the situation was that was prevailing at that time was very much against India. There was a nexus was emerging of the three countries, and it was a major security concern. Moreover, whatever peace treaty was done by India with USSR, it was not any kind of military alliance. As we see, NATO, SEATO, CENTO, all these were military alliance, which were one of the most important features of Cold War. But this treaty was not any kind of military alliance. It was just that in case of any kind of emergency, if India is in need of military assistance, then it will be given by the USSR. So all these developments were taking place in the international politics, and the focus was India and Pakistan. And on the other hand, what we find that it was becoming really unmanageable for India to take care of the 80 lakh refugees. And this was the time when Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister, and the decision taken by her was really appreciating. It was such a decision which increased the influence and power of India in international politics. So a full-scale war was started, in December 1971 with Pakistan. And in this war, what we find that so in Punjab and Rajasthan there was air attack by Pakistan, and in Kashmir region there was attack from military, and India retaliated this attack in a very efficient manner. All the three forces, Navy, air and military, were used by India on both the front, Western Front and Eastern Front. And what we find that when Indian Army went there, reached the East Bengal, it got support from the local people because it was a liberation war. It was a war for the liberation of Bangladesh. So the people of East Bengal was with India, and with this support of local people, India was in a winning situation. And what we find, what happened, that Dhaka, which was the capital of East Pakistan, Dhaka was surrounded by Indian Army from three sides, and 90,000 Pakistani military personnel were captured by India. They have to surrender, and in this way the war comes to an end with the surrender of Pakistan, and it was 16 December 1971 when a new country emerged on the map of the world, that is Bangladesh. So this war of 1971 proved to be very, it increased the image of India, it increased the influence of India, it proved that India's military strength is very strong, India is militarily very strong. And in world politics, India achieved a lot, but not only world politics, but the war has affected the national politics also, because at that time Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister, and before the war there was a Lok Sabha election, and in this election Indira Gandhi her party won the election. But after the election, what we find that after the war there was elections of state assemblies, and the war, there was impact of war on the voting pattern of the people, and in most of the states what we find that Congress returns to power, because we have seen in the first chapter now that the first three general elections, in these three general elections what we find that there was dominance of Congress. But after 1967 this dominance started to decrease. But then again, because of this war in 1971, after this war in 1972 the state elections were held, and the position of Congress became very strong. So this war has impact in international politics as well as in national politics. And now we will see, as we have discussed when we were discussing that planned development, I told you that the whole decade, the decade of 1960, is called a dangerous decade, because so many bad things happened during this decade. Death of Nehru, then death of Lal Bahadur Shastri, then Indo-China War of 62, then Indo-Pak War of 1965, and then again in 1971 India was involved in war. Besides, during this period, this decade 1960s, India also faced drought at many parts of the country, and this led to the food shortage. So all these problems made the decade of 1960 a dangerous decade, and our government has to spend more and more on military purposes, because the defeat of India in the war of 1962 proved that India need to spend more on military purpose. So the fund which was supposed to be spent on developmental and welfare activities, those funds were diverted to military expenditure. So this was the bad impact of all these wars, and that is the reason India was not in a position to start the fourth 5-year plan. And in the year 1966 it was supposed to be started, but it could not be started, and from 1962 to 69 is called plan holiday, these 3 years, because there were annual plans instead of 5-year plans because of financial problems. All this happened. So this was the impact. Then we will see that one more major event was there between India and Pakistan, and that was Kargil confrontation. In the year 1999, what was found by Indian Army, that there were some posts which were on the Indian side of the line of control, and these posts were under the control of Mujahideens. So the posts were Dras, Kaksar, Moscow and Batali. So in these posts were on the Indian side of the line of control, but they were occupied by Mujahideens. So what is this Mujahideen? Mujahideens are Islamic guerrilla warriors, and who fight against non-Islamics. So it was a kind of control of Pakistani army only, and now the Indian army decided to get control of these posts, and a new confrontation took place in the month of May-June of 1999, and India was successful in taking back these posts from Pakistan, and it was on 26th July, India 1999, India took control of the post. This Kargil confrontation was very much important because in the previous year, in the year 1998, what happened that both the countries, India and Pakistan, both have conducted nuclear test, and it was known to the whole world that both the countries are now possessing nuclear weapon. So this confrontation was very much important in that regard. But what we find that this confrontation was limited only to Kargil. There was no any kind of confrontation or attack on any front. And one more thing is important about this Kargil confrontation, that it was believed that Pakistani government was not knowing that Mujahideens are going to control all these posts. It was the secret act of Pakistani army, and the very next year what happens that the Pakistani army under the leadership of General Pervez Musharraf, took control of the Pakistani government. Military coup was initiated by Pervez Musharraf. So all this was planned by the Pakistani military force, and in this way we see that Pakistan has faced actually 4 wars are there: the war of 1947, then 1965, 1971 and 1999. And at present also we can say that the relation is not good. Kashmir is the main issue, and there is effort from both the countries to develop the relation to go in the positive direction, and hope we will be able to solve the problem in a positive manner. So this is all for today, and now we will meet tomorrow.